The US military's copy of Iran's Shahed 136 attack drone is finally getting scarier than the original, thanks to a hot injection of HIVEMIND artificial intelligence provided by Shield AI. Now, last December, I broke down how America's new Lucas one-way attack drones do not offer the same range or payload as Iran's Shahed 136, but nonetheless could still become more dangerous weapons thanks to their two-way data links and Uncle Sam's major investments into off-board autonomy supported by advanced artificial intelligence. And now, here I am back on the I Told You So tour with the Pentagon just awarding a new contract to Shield AI to integrate its autonomy software, known as HIVEMIND, into these low-cost weapons. Now, this really represents a fundamental shift in how these Lucas drones, or low-cost uncrewed combat attack systems, can be employed in combat, giving them the ability to coordinate with one another to perform evasive maneuvers, distribute and reprioritize targets, and conduct swarming attacks, all without any human intervention. Now, Shield AI calls this collaborative autonomy, and it's a cornerstone of several ongoing efforts spanning from low-cost drone swarms like these to high-end collaborative combat aircraft, or drone fighters, in testing today. Up until this point, Lucas attack drones have really operated a lot like Iran's Shahed 136 and Russia's copy, the Garin 2, effectively being launched with pre-established target coordinates and then just closing with them, like any other guided weapon. Now, those same $35,000 drones will be able to cooperate and adapt to changing conditions in coordination with one another and other assets in the battlefield in real time, based on directives provided by their human operators. Or as Shield AI's founder, Brandon Sang, put it, HIVEMIND will give the Lucas drones, quote, the autonomy layer that enables teams of drones to sense, decide, and act at scale. Now, as we've covered in the past, these Lucas drones were reverse engineered from recovered Shahed 136s by an Arizona-based firm called SpectreWorks, with the simple goal at the time of creating a target surrogate meant to emulate the basic shape and performance of Shahed-style drones for American troops to practice shooting down. But once they were finished, these 10-foot-long drones with an 8-foot wingspan and the ability to carry 40-pound payloads over ranges of better than 500 miles, well, that all made for a pretty darn enticing weapon system. And what followed was a rapid 12-month development and testing process that culminated in the first Lucas drones being used in combat against, ironically enough, Iran earlier this year. At $35,000 apiece, these drones come at a similar price point to Iran's original, which can range in cost from as little as $20,000 to as much as $80,000 apiece, depending on variant. And just like that OG Shahed, Lucas drones present a complicated problem for air defenders in nations like Iran, China, and Russia, who operate air defense systems like the S-300, S-400, and HQ-9, all of which launch expensive interceptors like the 48N6 that costs around $1.3 million a piece. Now, these Lucas drones are, of course, easy pickings for those kinds of systems, but the cost-exchange ratio makes doing so a pretty serious financial burden. Now, I wouldn't be doing my job as an air warfare educator if I didn't end by reminding you that despite all the media fanfare and hyperbole surrounding these kamikaze drones in recent years, they aren't really new technology. What makes them special isn't their capability set, but rather their low cost. In reality, these drones actually meet the criteria to be formally categorized as just a really crappy cruise missile. But that just doesn't sound nearly as scary in a headline, and it wouldn't drive as many clicks, so kamikaze drone became the phrase of the month. But cheap has a value of its own, especially when you combine cheap platforms like the Lucas with the very pricey AI capabilities delivered via off-board autonomy suites like HIVEMIND. Now, this contract was just awarded, and it isn't clear yet when we can expect to see these new AI-enabled Lucas drones actually see the fight.